Hello from Cape Town in South Africa, and welcome to the Conversation Live Show. Here on the Conversation Live Show, we provide you with real world insights that empower entrepreneurs, businesses, and executives. So join us as we get to know groundwater expert Peter Rosewarne in just a moment. And welcome to the show. I'm your host, Brijetti Limbanda. I am a Global Goodwill Ambassador, and I use live streaming to create conversations with brands, entrepreneurs, authors, nonprofits, and social good communities. And my guest today is groundwater expert Peter Rosewarne. Peter's got about 44 years of experience in the groundwater resource evaluation, development, mine groundwater management, subsurface contamination, landfills, specialist reports for EIAs and licensing reports for nuclear sites. And he's got a very proven track record. Track record is the word I'm looking for. Peter, welcome.
Thank you, Brijetti. Nice to talk to you again.
Likewise. So your speciality is groundwater, and you offer a service to clients. Tell us a bit more about what exactly it is that you offer and why the service is important to the water sector.
Okay, well, as you say, I've got about 44 years of experience, and I took semi-retirement from my previous company at the end of 2014, and I've been struggling a bit for the last, 5 years to keep myself mentally active. I didn't want to work 7 till 5 every day, but I wanted to do some groundwater work and contribute what I could to the water, basically the water crisis that's facing South Africa, as I think most of us have heard about. Anyway, and one of the things, that I picked up over the last probably, say, 20 years of my experience is the importance of a well-written report. When you think about it, in our field, in groundwater, the same as perhaps in engineering or in other fields, our product is a report. And it's often the only tangible evidence of money that the client spent, which could be millions of rands. It's the only tangible evidence. So if a report is badly written, or it's got mistakes in it, it comes across badly, it gives the client a bad impression. It even gives the groundwater industry perhaps a bad impression if that report is available to the public. For example, in environmental impact assessments, when you get specialist reports, which are sent around to the public for comment. And a particular experience I had many years ago just illustrates the point. I got to review a report for a client called Rio Tinto. I don't think that's giving any secrets away. It was 20 odd years ago. And a consultancy had done phase 1 of work in Zimbabwe, and I got to review their report. And frankly, it was a very poorly written report. And I sent a review through to the client, and we ended up getting the phase 2 work and the rest of the work on that mine on groundwater, basically because they got such a poorly written phase 1 report. So that drove it home to me, the importance of giving a good product to the client. And I was sitting at my desk a few weeks ago, and I was sort of racking my brains. How can I generate some work? What can I do? Form a company or something to, as I say, to get this mental stimulation and to sort of keep active in the field of groundwater. And it's almost like a eureka moment. I suddenly thought about peer reviews, reviews of reports of other consultants or organizations. And the key aspect as to why I think I've got a unique product is the fact that it's just me. I don't owe allegiance to any organization. It's just myself doing a review. If somebody sends me a report, it stays between me and that organization or that consultancy or that person. There's no publicity, there's no, it's something that can't be done between, at least I don't think it can be done between other consultancies, because you give a report to another consultancy and you're sort of giving away state secrets. This is how we write our reports. This is the client we're working for. This is a project. And especially in current times when projects are hard to come by, you don't want to be giving potential leads, if you like, to other rival consultancies. So I sit here on my own. Somebody sends me a report or a request for a review. It stays just between me and that consultancy. And I don't have to, at least I don't believe, I will be tendering for any work because I'm just doing reviews. So that's where I think the unique aspect that I can offer with this groundwater peer review services is the fact that's all I do as part of this company, and it's no threat to anybody else, and it'll be done in complete confidentiality.
So who would your ideal client be? Could you give us an example?
Well, they would be my former competitors when I was working for my previous company, other consulting, groundwater consultants. It could be people like the City of Cape Town, perhaps, or other municipalities who are being given reports by consultants. And mostly those municipalities haven't got experts in groundwater, so that they don't really know if what they're getting is sort of is correct, if I can put it that way. And so if they say a municipality gets a review by somebody like myself, I'm not saying I'm going to get everything 100% right necessarily, but it's a review by somebody like myself should give them comfort based on the comments they get, that what they've got is a reasonable report, the conclusions are reasonable, they've got value for money. And then with consultants, they can send a report to myself, and as I say, they can either acknowledge the fact that the review is done by groundwater peer review services, or they don't have to tell anybody and just pretend it was, well, not pretend, I mean, the report would be by that company, but they don't have to acknowledge the fact it was reviewed by anybody. Although some companies with an ISO quality control management system require that sort of review to have been done. So I think it would should benefit and could be attractive to a whole range of different companies and organizations within South Africa.
Yeah. So essentially, the great thing about what you do is that you are entirely independent, and it offers the confidentiality factor because there's no one else involved and there's no vested interest of other parties. So that would be the great thing of what you offer.
That's how I see it, yes.
So in terms of why people would need the service, can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes. Over the many years of my experience, I've got to read lots of reports by other organizations, other consultancies. Some are very good, but I read a lot of them, and you wonder, at least I wonder, how they ever pass through any sort of review process, because basic things like English is not very good. Things are repeated, there are mistakes. Groundwater is not an exact science, and sometimes the way some of these reports are written, people are putting in values that are totally unrealistic based on the fact that you can't see or measure a lot of the parameters that go into a groundwater resource evaluation, for example. So I've seen, and within my own organization previously, I did a lot of reviews, and that final peer review by somebody who's got my sort of experience, I think can just help to remove the needless typos, the needless mistakes, and give almost like a stamp of authority, if you like, and reassurance, and improve the quality of the product.
Now, I can totally see the benefit of that. Can you, just for the sake of anyone watching this, give us an idea of the caliber of clients that you've worked with previously? Because that'll give people an idea of the kind of credibility that you can offer them.
Well, a couple come to mind. One was, or one is, no, was, because I don't work for them anymore, Chevron. And the project we had with them, we must have written hundreds of reports for different sites in South Africa, and also Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. And they were written by a number of different people in our different offices around the country. But the person, the head honcho, if you like, who was sitting in Rotterdam in Holland, he wanted to read those reports as if they're all written by one person, the same person. So everything had to be uniform. So every single one of those hundreds of reports needed to be written in the same style, using exactly the same approach for every single report. And that's where I came in and reviewed all of these reports to ensure that what he got, he could imagine was written by one person, whereas in fact they were written by up to perhaps 10 people. Another example is Eskom. I was involved with them assisting to write licensing documents for new nuclear sites. And there we had, I think it was 57 different reports that were written by, I think it was up to 10 different companies. There's about 20 different people working on the project, officers all around the country working on it. But again, every single one of those reports had to be written in the same style. It had to follow a certain writing guide and had to appear to the person reading it, either Eskom or the licensing agency, again, as if they'd been written by one person to give a totally uniform overall impression to the reader. So I think those two large corporate clients and the work that went into those large numbers, hundreds of reports to make them uniform, error-free, give some idea of the sort of background to my claim to fame, if you like. I can add value in terms of doing peer reviews.
And that's a huge thing that people may underestimate, but I think there's nothing worse than getting an official document or report and it's got grammatical errors in it or typing errors. It reflects very poorly on the quality of the document. And even though the service may be excellent, but if you end up with a poorly written report, it can question the authority behind the information that's being presented. So that's a very good point.
I agree. And I mean, when you get, okay, it's often junk mail, but when you get mail through the post from your bank or from an insurance agency or whatever it is, and either they spelt your name wrong or they've got, it's just poor English or poorly written. I mean, I don't know what anybody else does. I just throw whatever that is straight in the bin. I've got no time for somebody trying to sell me something if they can't even, for example, get my name right. I know that's a very simplistic example, but it's the same thing. I think if you walk into Woolworths or Checkers or Spar, and you pick up a can of whatever it is, and they can't even spell the name of the contents correctly on the can, you'll probably put it back on the shelf and think, well, I wonder what the contents are like. I'd rather choose something else where they know seem to know what they're talking about.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I feel absolutely the same about any documentation that goes out. It needs to be well written and reflect the integrity of the person that has sent that document. Peter, if anyone wants to know more or they'd like to connect with you with regards to getting your groundwater peer review services, how can people connect with you?
Well, at the moment, I've posted this on LinkedIn. I've sent out, I've got what I call a marketing flyer, which I'll just hold up here. It's just a one-pager, which, as I say, I'm sending out to potential clients that I know. I haven't got a website because I don't intend to advertise per se, because, as I said, I don't think I can put on there that I've just reviewed Joe Blogg's report or a report of company A, B, or C, because that's, again, violating exactly what I'm saying is one of the draw cards, if you like, of using my services, of the confidentiality. So otherwise, my email address is prosewarne@telcomsa.net. That's probably the easiest way to get hold of me. Otherwise, my cell phone number, 082 600 7635. And I'll endeavor, as I always do, to get back to anybody who inquires by return of post, so to speak.
100%. And of course, you've got a LinkedIn profile so people can reach out to you. They can connect with you on LinkedIn. I guess that would probably be the best thing in addition to sending you an email. So I will put in the comments your email address so people know where to reach you. Peter, it was great getting to know you, and thanks for the information about, what it is that you can offer the water industry. And I think, with your kind of experience and bearing in mind the water crisis that South Africa has, I think your expertise is appreciated, and I hope that people will reach out to you and make use of your experience.
Well, thanks, Brigitte, and thanks very much for the opportunity to have a chat this afternoon.
It's a big pleasure. Have a great day further, Peter, and thanks very much. And thank you to everyone who has joined us and watched us. And if you are in the water sector, or if you know of anyone else who may benefit from peer review services, independent peer review service, then please do reach out as well. Peter, thanks very much, and goodbye for now.
Okay, thanks, Brigitte. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.